My name is Caroline Holland, and I grew up in a small town, Oklahoma, middle of the Bible Belt. I was in church practically from the day I was born. I grew up Methodist, and as an infant, I was christened. My parents dedicated me to Christ, and they sprinkle the water on your head, and I was in youth group. I spent all of my time with other kids from church. That's where all my friends came from. I went on mission trips. I was just, a typical Christian kid. I always identified as a Christian. I always knew, I believed the Bible and I believed what I learned in church, but I never really spent a whole lot of time digging in on a personal level. Anyway, I grew up and I left home and I went to move to Colorado after college and joined a church there that was fantastic. I saw the biggest growth in who I was as a Christian at that church. Up until that point, I had, always identified myself as a Christian. I was like a superficial kind of Christian. I cared about him, but I didn't really have that deep relationship with him. I started feeling God talk to me on a regular basis, pulling me to want to get baptized. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just because this whole relationship piece of my Christianity was new. I felt awkward, especially being, an adult and having never had a baptism, but calling myself a Christian, it almost felt like this disconnect, like I should have already done that. I finally made the decision after I had my second daughter back in September, I have got to stop ignoring this, and he's been asking me to do it for years, and I've been ignoring it, and there's no good reason for that. And January 14th, I was baptized, and while I was standing in the water beforehand, my 2-year-old was standing at the gate, and she said, "You're doing so great, Mommy." And I just about broke down and laughed and cried, because that moment right there explained to me why I'm here in the first place and who is looking up to me. That's what it's about. And we're supposed to be disciples who are making disciples, but the way to do that is by going first and setting the example. And, I've got these 2 girls who are going to be watching me, whether good or bad. They're going to watch the good parts and they're going to watch the bad parts, and I'm setting an example for them whether I want to or not. And what does that look like for me as being, a follower of Christ? It has to be with me going first. God calls us to make disciples. And I think one of the biggest ways that we can do that is by honoring him in your life and letting that show towards other people. And so it's not necessarily in my mind going about, trying to convert somebody, but it's letting his love shine in your own life and staying true to what he's doing for you, and letting that teach the people around you and teach the little kids in your life. And I'm just really, really proud that they got to be there for that.